Hi, FST students. Today we're going to learn how to put a histogram in our graphing calculator. So I shared with you this document right here today about farm workers per country and the frequency. And also make sure you take out your graphing calculator because we're going to learn how to put a histogram in our graphing calculator. Okay, so the first thing we're going to take a look at is this is what's called a grouped frequency table. Obviously, it's a table and it's grouped because we have these intervals right here. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is we're going to look at this right here. This right here, we want to label this 0, 15, 30, 45, and 60. This is what's called the lower class limit. So I have you take your notes and write that down, lower class limit. Okay. The next thing we're going to take a look at, and I'll change colors here, is this right here. These numbers right here are what are called the upper class limits. So I'll write down upper class, this right here. All right. Okay, the other thing we need to talk about, and I'm going to pick a different color, is what's called class width. Class width is this right through here. It's going from 0 to 15, 15 to 30, 30 to 45, 45 to 60. So class width right here, class width. And our class width is 15. Okay, which is 15. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to start taking a look at this next page right here. And this is going to get us ready to start putting it in our graphing calculator. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to list the lower class limits. So these are literally these numbers right here that we had just circled earlier. So we're going to put in 0. We're literally going to write these 15, 30, 45, and is that it? No, and we need a 60. Okay, upper class limits. Go back to our table. These are the upper class limits. We're literally going to write those down. So 15, 30, 45, 60, and 75. Okay, now we're going to take a look at what's called the X-min. This is going to get us going. This right through here is what's going to help us put our data in our calculators. So we're going to go back here. X-min is this number right here. And if you take a look at it, these are our X's. So right up here, we're going to put down our X's. Okay, so right here, we're going to put down that that is a 0. X max, you would think it's 60, but actually it's this number right here. It's going to be 75. This is where our histogram ends at 75 for our interval. So right here, we're going to put down 75. X scale is the class width. It's what are we counting by, right? So class width. And our class width, we said earlier, was a 15. It comes right from this right here, 15. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at the Y. So let's think about if we were to make this histogram, right? So I'm just going to draw a really crooked histogram here. This is obviously our x-axis, right? So right now we just did our intervals, right? From 0 to 15, 15 to 30, 30 to 45, 45 to 60, that type of thing. And then our frequency is our y's, okay? So that's the bars of the histogram. So I'm just going to say like this goes up to 12, right? And then this goes up to 25. Next one's going to be like a 47, that type of thing, right? So these are our Y's. Okay. So when I want to make this in the graphing calculator, when I go to graph this, our Y min is starting right here at 0. We will always start at 0 because we're counting at 0, then we're going up to however many we have for our frequency. So right here, this Y min will always be a 0 because this is where we start the bars at, okay? Y max, when I go back to the table here, Y max is going, we take a look at our frequency and we see that this number here is 47. That's the biggest we have, right? So what we want to do is our Y max, we don't want to put a 47 because when we make the graph, what happens is in our graphing calculator, it will literally cut it off right at 47, and we'll see this bar that goes to the very top. It would be nice to have a picture where you could see a little bit of space above the bars. So right here, rather than make it at 47, you can make that 50, 55, anything like that. I'm just going to make a 50, and then we'll see how that turns out. Y scale. Y scale is when you make the histogram, what do you want to count by, right? So what do you want to make these go by? Do you want to go by ones? Do you want to go by twos, fives? What do you want to do? It's up to you. There's no really right or wrong answer for this. So back here, I think I'm going to count and I want to go by fives for this. Okay, now let's take a look at taking this information and we're going to create our histogram in our graphing calculator. All right, so if we do that, let's take a look at this here. We're going to, first off, go to Stat, Edit, and in L1, we need to put in the lower class limits. That's what the L1 is. So we're going to go 0, 15, 30, 45, whoops, up here, 15, 30, 45, and 60. Okay. L2 is not the upper class limits. What you want to do is it's going to be your frequency. So I'm going to write down these numbers: 12, 25, 47, 17, and 6. So I have them in front of me so I can create this, put these numbers in L2. So I'm going to have 12, 25, 47, 17, and 6. All right. Now we're going to go to second y equals, turn the plots on. We want a histogram, so we're going to go down here to type. We want this for our histogram right here. Our X list is L1. Our frequency list is a L2, so make sure you change that. So how do I do that? Second 1 for L1, second 2 for L2. Okay, next step, we want to go to window. Window, X min. X min we said was 0. X max we said was 75. We'll type that in. Y scale we said, or X scale, I'm sorry, was our class width, which is 15. Y min is always 0. Y max is 50, that's what we chose, and then Y scale was 5. Okay, so you can kind of see this over here to the right. I have this histogram going on here. So we're going to take and press graph, and there's our histogram. Going to press trace, and here from 0 to 15 I have 12. 15 to 30 I have 25. See how it's matching this table quite nicely. 30 to 45 is 47. 45 to 60 is 17. And 60 to 75 is 6. So I have my histogram. Okay, the other question that I ask you at the end of the sheet is create a frequency frequency polygon, I believe, at the end. What is a frequency polygon? So what we're going to do is we're going to go to second y equals, come down to the second plot, turn it on, and we want this type right here. We want this second one right here. L1 and L2 again. Press graph, and we get this. This right here that connects the bars of the histogram is what's called a frequency polygon. Okay, so that concludes learning how to put a histogram in our calculator. You will do a homework out of the book. It will ask you to create one histogram on your calculator. Make sure you take a screenshot of that and send that to me. And then following that, we'll take a quiz on creating a histogram in your graphing calculator. If you have any questions, reach out to me through Google Classroom, and I'll be happy to help you out.